Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. BTM here, bringing you match number 28 in my Age of Empires 3 series. It is a 1v1 against a Master Sergeant on the map Silk Road. It's going to be an excellent match. It's probably my favorite match that I've played so far, actually, just because he plays very, very well. He's a little bit higher ranked than me, so I'm excited to be able to bring you a match where it's two people in the same match playing pretty decently. Right off the bat, we notice we start with a market because we are on the map Silk Road, and I'm going to actually kind of adjust my strategy with China a little bit to utilize that market specifically. Mainly, I'm going to buy hunting eagles right off the bat using the coin I got from that treasure just a minute ago. Now, normally my first card as China is, of course, the refugee card, which will give me a village, which will give me a settler from each village and my town center. However, because I do not start off with enough wood to build the villages, and because I'm worried about playing a Chinese mirror, I'm actually not going to send that card first. I'm going to send the 300 food, and I'm instead going to buy the first hunting eagles upgrade, and then the overall boost to China's economy upgrade. And my hope is by using that, I'll be able to have a little bit of an economic advantage without being in trouble from not sending the three card, because I felt since I was playing a Chinese mirror I had to be a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive. I'm also not going to age up with the 17 villagers you normally expect Chinese to. I am instead going to age up with probably 13 or 14 and really get a fast rush going. At least that was my mindset going into this match at the beginning. I know the kid's better ranked than me, and generally I play chess also, and you're taught in chess that if you know you're going to play somebody who's worse than you, slow them down, force them to make mistakes, and then capitalize. If you're playing against somebody who's better than you, you want to go really, really fast, put the pressure on them, and knock them off their feet, theoretically, I guess. And that's kind of what I'm going to do here. Now, because I'm going to age with 13 or 14 villagers, I think it ends up being 13, rather than the normal 16 or 17 that you're supposed to with China, I am going to choose, when I get to the point of aging, to build the porcelain tower, which will give me a trickle of resources. My hope is that by picking up villager production as soon as I age and sending the porcelain tower, my economy will pick up very, very quickly from where it is. Now, I look at his deck here, and I was stunned. There's a ton of third age cards, and the first thought that came to my mind is, I kind of hesitated there, and I said, this guy has to be fast fortressing. So I immediately off the bat was very, very excited because I'm going for a very, very early rush. He's going for a fast fortress. Let's see if this works out. Now, fortunately, I am able to find a 35 wood treasure. I am going to grab that up right away. And I have had my villager on that gold. My goal with that villager was to only get 50 gold. That way I could buy the 5% overall treasure. And you're going to see me, or 5% overall upgrade, you're going to see me grab that very, very shortly as soon as I take care of my idle villagers. So I am modifying my strategy on the fly, and I felt pretty confident with what I was doing. I had actually some music in my ears. I felt like I was going to play a great game, so that's what's going on here. Now, I have 13 villagers, and I have over 700 food approaching 3 minutes in the game, so I know at this point, I'm looking at myself and feeling like I can age up here, and I will have the ability to take advantage and hopefully get a faster, earlier rush on him, especially if he's fast fortressing, because after looking at his deck, I definitely assumed he was fast fortressing. And also, if he's fast fortressing, he's got to go with the Summer Palace, or he's got to go with the Summer Palace. I don't see him having any other choice. And if he's fast fortressing, he has to ship that 700 coin, which means a fast rush will have another advantage over him. So at this point, while aging, I'm going to have to transition my economy a little bit. I do currently have all 9 villagers on food and 4 working on the wonder. I'm going to shift it so I either have 6 or 4 on food. I'm sorry, 5 or 4 on food, and then the rest on wood, and any new villagers I get will go to wood. And my goal there is to have just enough villagers to keep making villagers, but having enough villagers so that I can really capitalize and get the wood I need for another village, since I only made 1 in the beginning of the game, and the blockhouse as soon as possible. Did I say blockhouse? I meant War Academy, I'm sorry. Now, I did get the wood chopping upgrade there, and we are in some very, very good shape at this point. At least I felt like it. We're going to get that wonder up, and if he's fast fortressing, I will totally have a tremendous advantage. Now, one thing I did make a little bit of a mistake here with was I did build that porcelain tower pretty far out. Now, when I did it, I kind of felt a little bit weird doing it, but I also did not want to take the time to get my villagers to walk behind my town or closer to my town to protect the building. I wanted to get it up as fast as possible, so that's why I actually built that porcelain tower there as where I did. Now, fortunately, I am able to get a War Academy up right away, and I am going to send 7 Step Riders as my first second age card, my second card overall, hopefully to get a lot of pressure on him. After aging, I did shift the 4 villagers from the Wonder. I put 3 of them back on food, 1 on wood, and now my economy is in an 8-6 split, 16 villagers total, enough to have a steady production of villagers, 7 Step Riders coming, and we can clearly see that he is definitely going to be hitting that third age as hard as he can, because he does have absolutely everybody, and I mean everybody, on coin. So he's clearly trying to get that 300 coin as fast as he can, while I am clearly trying to rush him as fast as he can, although he might not know that I'm going to rush him. So I'm very, very excited at this point. I felt like it was my game to win. So I do send the 7 Step Riders right here, and I did set the waypoint away from my town center. Now here, you notice those villagers gathering that food. I actually attacked them with my Explorer. I bait my monk. I bait his monk to come chase me, and my plan here is to send my own Step Riders to go kill all of those villagers. So hopefully I'll be able to pick off 3 or 4 of his villagers well. Now, you may have noticed right there, I sent the monk to attack his monk, that way they won't die. Unfortunately, just as I walk up to kill those villagers, their herdables run out, and he starts going to another herdable source, unfortunately, so I am unable to kill any of them. But at this point, my intention is fairly clear, and I am going to now make my first Old Han army at 6 minutes in the game. It's not a super fast rush, but with China, considering that you normally have a little bit more of a delayed rush, this is definitely much faster than he was probably expecting me to be. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the map, I am circling his town with my Step Riders. I want to get some pressure. I want to chase him away from that mine. I don't want him to hit that third age fast, because I know that when you get to the third age, you get more units and more experience. Fortunately, though, one aspect of the map is going to help me here, and that is that it does take... there's no trade post that he can get. It does take actually killing all the trade post guardians in order to be able to get the experience from trade posts. So I'm actually in very, very good shape in regards to his countering his fast fortress strategy, because he will have to attempt to get the fast fortress age without having any easily buildable trade posts. Now, you may notice here I am able to lure his Explorer into fighting my Old Han army and kill his Explorer while my Explorer somehow barely survives, and I still do have those Step Riders, hopefully keeping a little bit of pressure on his town. And he said "oh" here, like he probably wasn't expecting me to kill him. Fortunately, I was able to, and now we're going to hit our population cap with our pikemen, Quang pikemen we sent, and now we have 2 Old Han armies, Quang pikemen and Step Riders, and we really need to start getting pressure on him at 7 minutes in the game. He is going to be hitting the third age very, very soon if he has not already begun aging and building the Wonder. So I do, of course, start to run in with my Step Riders. I see one army there, and I decide to run away, and that was kind of a little bit of a weird choice in my mind. But I didn't want to betray my hand just yet, because I did want to give a chance for my army from the top to march in a little bit more. Fortunately, here now, though, I am going to attack him, because that is very clearly a standard army, which is only 2 Step Riders and 3 Choco No, and I know that my 7 Step Riders will easily be able to decimate him. Hopefully I can lure out his Step Riders and his units and kill them. Now, and that is exactly what happens, because his Choco No actually kind of get a little bit too close to my Step Riders on the town, and I'm able to kill them, and I'm able to get my Quang pikemen and my other units around there to start sieging his summer palace, since that seems to be the only source of units he has. Unfortunately, he does hit the third age with the Confucian Academy as his Wonder, but his Arbuskiers, I'm not sure what they're called. They're basically his equivalent of skirmishers, though, pop out right in front of my Step Riders. A huge break of luck, because I'm able to just start killing them with my Step Riders. And it's a tremendous amount of luck there that I was able to kill them. I think I would have won either way, because I would have just gotten my Step Riders on them. This only made it a little bit easier. Fortunately, we are able to kill those Step Riders, and now I'm going to go for his town center. And you might be wondering here now why I didn't go for the Confucian Academy. It's because I have found, at least in the Flying Crows train, so dang slow. I was not worried in the slightest, actually, about Flying Crows popping up. I figured it would be very, very easy for me to kill. The more important thing for me to do here is kill that town center and really force him to start going mobile, which was actually not a bad strategy. I do let all his villagers actually run away, and again, not necessarily probably the best choice, but again, the biggest deal here for me was killing that town center. Now, he sends all his villagers to gold, which does tell me that he is trying to get mercenaries. I do, by the way, let a few Quang pikemen slip off to go attack those villagers again, not because I really intend of killing a lot of them or causing a huge amount of problem, but more so that I can keep some pressure on him. That way I have to keep him honest, I guess. He can't just sit there and gather with impunity under my nose. Fortunately, it works. He has to hide in that village, and my entire strategy at this point is revolved around keeping him from gathering resources. Now, I do have to, unfortunately, in order to kill him, I do have to burn those villages too, because villages, I believe, can act as drop-off points for units. So the next order of business to kill is the villages. If we can kill both of those villages, the game is definitely over at that point. There isn't anything he can do because he won't have anywhere to ship his units. And as you can see there, he does ship some arbitrary skewers. Now, even though they greatly outpower my units and he has a very, very good number of them, they aren't going to be able to do much because I do have a pretty good horde of Choco No running around on the map. So at this point, despite the fact that he's trying to micromanage me and run around, there isn't all that much he can do. His villagers do kind of gather by that village for one last stand, but at this point is definitely a GG, and he decides to resign. So I had a ton of fun playing this game. I have never played a Chinese Fast Fortress before, and I felt like I played really well, he played really well, and so even though I'm going to upload Civ later today, I figured I would definitely bring you this video to show you a good 1v1 match. Now, I did ask him here, hey, what unit were you trying to send in the Fortress Age? And I decided to go look at his deck to see. Apparently, the only mercenary I really noted, besides the 2 cavalry cards, the Arbitrated Skewers, and the Chandango Swordsman, was he did have the Mandrulian, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Cavalry Archers, and the Rattan Shields. But all around, a very, very good game. It was a lot of fun to play in Mirror. He obviously was expecting me to do a little bit more of a standard, slower-paced Chinese, and he definitely thought he could take advantage of that by fast fortressing. I, on the other hand, said, speed, 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 and I was able to get the drop on him. So it was a huge amount of fun, and it was a great match. I really enjoyed it. He played pretty well. He kind of got the short end of the stick. It was just one of those strategy mismatches where I had the better strategy at the time, and that's just how the cookie crumbled, I guess you could say. So thank you guys so much for watching, and before I leave, I just wanted to let you know I have been keeping track of the game requests as always. Currently on my list, I have an India treaty, I have a German, I have a request to play some German, I have a request for another map on Amazon, which I tried to record too, but they didn't work out. I have a request for me to play Aztec, and I currently have a request for me to play as British and get a Musketeer rush going. And so at some point in the future, all of those will come. Just letting you know that we're probably going to wrap up China a little bit now and probably move on to one of those civilizations on the list. I haven't decided between German, Aztec, and British, but I might be leaning toward Aztec just because I really like their play style. So that's what's going on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, a comment, and I'm sure you already have, but if you haven't, subscribe. My name is Big Thunder Man. Until I catch you guys next time, happy hunting.